it's that energy. You've got a lot of energy rolling in. It's just like you want a clean, clear, and a fast burn. You want the right fuel for that vehicle to get you over the line. So that's the main aspect we're looking at here, is balancing the emotions and keeping them together, and that focus, that's positive fire. Negative fire would be hate, anger, destructiveness, jealousy, those kind of emotions. Or they'll put down, people laugh at them and whatever. But then the ones that come through, they've got the strength, that they chose this cycle and say, okay, it's going to be a tough one, whatever, but I can rise above it. You've got a race of beings here. I wouldn't even say a race of species. Say species. Feed on here. It doesn't matter. They can enter another being's, chakras and control them.
Kings and queens, magis and healers all over the world, and the seekers of profound wisdom, I am thrilled. I am beyond the moon to introduce you to a luminary whose presence promises to illuminate the deeper parts of your consciousness and empower you to journey towards self-mastery. Because today, we're diving into the realm of mastering the elements, a hermetic approach to overcoming self-sabotage and generating personal power within your own very life. And we are so lucky to be joined by none other than the Hermeticist Michael Lamb. Because if you find yourself yearning for a perspective that transcends the ordinary, the average, then you've come to the right place. Because this is a source of profound wisdom, and it invites you to explore the depths of your own mind and your soul and your body. Because that search is the beginning, the catalyst, the starting right here. And he's not just merely a mentor, he is a sage, a custodian of ancient wisdom, an alchemist whose journey spans a transformative 9 years at the School of Inner Knowledge. And his insights are just not profound, they're paradigm shifting. And his experience traverses many disciplines, from Hermetic lore to universal healing, color and sound, and to the dance of the very own elements. And he has a repertoire that includes numerology, tarot, astrology, cosmology, and spans with Eastern and Western ancient philosophy. And he embodies a holistic approach to personal transformation. And that is what Hermeticism is all about, is transformation. And he explains that our hearts connect us to our true selves and the essence of life. And in his mentoring, he helps you to discover your own very personal inner harmony by thinking clearly, feeling deeply, and trusting your God-given instincts. And he guides you to align your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul, because that allows you to tap into your full potential and make dreams a reality. So let's get ready to learn. Let's get ready to grow with Michael as he helps you to see things very differently and take on new perspectives that assist you in transforming your life. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy.
How's it going, Michael?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much. Just back in
Good.
the land of Oz, or the Wizard of Oz, as we call it. About to go to the
Nice.
Timecodes this afternoon, although it's not sunshiny, it's a little bit rainy. But yeah, very good. Been down to the Gold Coast and doing some work down there as well. People have been asking me to do some more seminars, and which has been good too. So I'll let you know as you some of the questions throughout the the course of the interview. But really well, as I say, I feel like I've just visited ladies or something. You come back, and out to Orion next week.
Yeah. Nice. So to get things kicked off, the first question that I have for you, and just for everybody to know, like, I've known Michael for a few years, and he's been an awesome mentor in my personal life and answered a lot of questions for me. And I know you guys are going to really enjoy his profound wisdom. And the first question I have for you, Mike, is could you just give me a brief overview of Hermeticism and its principles and how they relate to personal transformation with alchemy?
Absolutely, that's a great question. Right off the bat there. Hermeticism comes back from many of the ancient aspects that they say about Egypt, and not just Egypt, but we're also talking about, more ancient cultures. We're finding out now, we found Göbekli Tepe there. They can't deny that it's, 9,000 BC. So we're finding these places. So obviously we're looking at the Hyperboreas, the Atlantis, and Lemuria and Mu and ancient cultures that are filtered down. Hermeticism goes back, it believes, or it's read from the original emerald tablets of Thoth. And Thoth is once again one of those avian-headed bird beings and that of Egypt, and also they were connected to the Nubian culture, as you can see with the Sphinx. And anyway, but basically an overview of Hermeticism, it's about transforming the lead emotions, the heavy emotions, into the golden light that you are within. So, it's heaviness. So basically lead obviously relates in planetary aspects to Saturn, that Saturnian energy. We're here on planet Earth doing a few cycles, going a few laps around the sun. And we're actually expanding through our heart. So solar plexus gold into the green aspect of the heart. I suppose Hermeticism comes back, obviously, when we're getting back to Thoth, in the Greek Hellenistic or the Hellenistic period, he's known as Hermes, the thrice born. So it's connecting to the Merlins and the line of Moses. So now, like Thoth Moses, Thoth means Thoth, or Tut Moses, or the line of Thoth. Moses in Hebrews of the novel, that line. So it's a tradition or a bloodline that comes through that carries knowledge and wisdom and sacred energy as well. So that goes all around the world to those that sort of practice this sort of work. And Hermeticism is basically about learning about your inner self. As you go deeper into yourself, you learn to go outside yourself. You still got to function in the material plane, as well as, connect, understand the planets through different aspects. And there's different systems. I mean, we're looking at different languages and different cultures and the symbolism that goes there as well. So it incorporates all of that, and it might blow people's minds, but we're going beyond the mind. We're dealing with physical being to the earth, the mind being to the mental, which is to the air element, obviously heart and the liquid running through the liquids of the body to the water, and the spirit, which is separate to the soul. They work together, but the spirit is more to the sun, which is the immortal part of yourself, so, being sun beings, you're a son, I'm a son, daughter being the universal, the birthing, the womb, the toroidal aspect. So there you go, in a nutshell. Exactly. What we're going to plan.
And one thing too that I wanted to sort of ask you about too is, does it also deal with like the stages of refining your spirit? Like your spirit is being refined through your soul and through your experiences as well?
Well, you look at your spirit being your will, and it is pure, and yet it has to have a physical life. So you're sheathed in a soul, which is your astral body, which is where, obviously where you're spending your dream times, or where you go on the afterlife, the soul part of you. And it goes through many cycles or incarnations, all right? So you're finding more your soul, all right, which is your astral body, which is the ability to, move through the astral planes, as well as your physical body becomes, obviously a lot more regenerated through health and diet and exercise, and your connection and love to nature, Mother Nature, which is a reflection of your own inner self. So as above, so below, or as within, so all about. So you are refining, your soul, and that reflects on your sun, which is, energy spark. You're the driver of the vehicle, or the rider of the bike, or you're operating the phone, or, so that's the spirit part of you. You have to show up. As
Gotcha. So it's almost like how like in symbolism, and I know you're really great at symbolism, is like you have like sometimes with the reversed pentagram, like it's matter over spirit or spirit over matter. So it's almost like you're mastering your spirit over the matter in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a sense.
Point
Yeah.
down, as you said, the pentagram is mastery of the microcosm. So basically everything smaller than ourselves, or this plane is microcosm. So that's the pentagram. So that's your defense against it. Obviously, the symbol of defense of the US is the pentagram or the pentagon. Okay. So they wouldn't do that by accident, So, and then the hexagram is obviously to the microcosm. So that's the mastership. It relates to the sun, or 0.6, or the solar aspect. And there's a lot encoded in that. I can crack all the the different codes if you want to go into that. But it's about balancing planetary energies, because all the planets like are different gods or goddesses of different pantheons, and they just have a mix here happening, with the crystal growth and the growth of plants and shapes and flowers. They have that influence. They're not just 80 trillion tons of rock just happening floating around space. They're intelligences. So
Right.
yeah, if that makes any sense to the listeners, there's a lot more that you can get into it. Plus, there's obviously there's different encoding,
Right.
penta and hexa. So yeah, but point down is where the energy going. So like you point your finger, that's the direction you're going. So obviously your body's wired up to the 5 elements too. So fire.
Oh. Yeah.
Shush. There's a fireman, fire, shush, and you
Ah,
in the Kabbalah how they all relate to different aspects of the elements again. So
right.
you're running everything, through the being, as it were. You start to wire up the different aspects of the body. So obviously, if you're a acupuncturist, acupressure, or let's say a physiotherapist, whatever, you want to know the muscle groups or the nerve endings and tendons, ligaments. So we learn a lot about our own anatomy, which is, good.
Yes.
We need to know that, what's working and what's clogging up the liver or the kidneys. And, oh, God, that's not food, that's plaster of Paris. It's just, yeah, probably.
So the next question that I have for you as well is, and sort of diving into the topic of self-sabotage and from a hermetic perspective, how we deal with these things, is how does Hermeticism or Hermetic philosophy interpret self-sabotage, and what are some of the common manifestation of it within our lives?
Oh, that's a very good question. Sort of probably double loaded question there. All right. So we use meditation, obviously, and then we go into more advanced meditations rather than sitting in the silence. It's good to calm the mind. That's the big one. Your mind and your spine. So your spine's like a transmitter and receiver. It can transmit thoughts and feelings by the thousands. The average person has 30 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Everything from, oh God, I need a new toothbrush. Why didn't I brush my teeth this morning? Blah, blah, all these thoughts. So one is learning how to balance these thoughts, as well as with every thought, you're wired back into your emotions. Emotions are feeling, that's liquid, and with your thoughts, that's air, to the mental mind. And the mind is going, let's learning to calm the mind, just like the child. Every single thing is like, otherwise we hit overload or we're cooking. Particularly now, we've got so much pollution in the airwaves, which is, obviously Wi-Fi. I mean, it's clean when it's clean. Obviously, you can balance it with different. But anyway, let's get into the self-sabotage side of things. With Hermeticism, we come back to the 5 elements. It's easy to understand once you've sort of learned how to balance your mind. And the mind's a big thing. Mind's very powerful. Where the attention goes is where the energy flows. Where the attention goes is where the energy flows, and you get what you think about most. So moving away from standard programs, mainstream stuff is a very healthy start. Connecting with your loved ones, connecting with yourself, getting to know yourself. It's like, oh man, I know this pattern. Oh, I did that before. Yeah. I'm looking for this relationship, or I'm looking for that in this gig. Hang on. Oh, I've got no self-esteem, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm being selfish, but you've got to have self-esteem for high quality energy, high quality job, high quality relationships. So learning the difference of the emotions. Now, with 5 elements, which we did in the elements course, and you can understand positive fire, negative fire emotions, positive earth emotions, negative earth, water, air, so on and so forth. There's the polarity. And we're going for the neutral, which is like the tree of life. You have negative and positive, or masculine and feminine. And we're looking at that. It's not saying male's negative or female's negative. It's looking about polarity and neutralizing it, which is kind of like with that. I suppose they used to demonize it as hermaphrodite, but it's Hermes and Aphrodite. Well, it's balancing Mercury and Venus are the 2 basic planetary motions you go when you start the tree of life. A little bit too deep to get into it, but the thing is, knowing the emotions when they start to play out and catching it, just catching, oh, I'm going back into anger here. Oh, yeah, that guy cut me off, oh, why would this key open the door? Exactly. What's happening with my back? All these things. And of course, emotions are relevant. Even all the gods and, the great past, they still go through their emotions, just how they balance, deal with them. So we're not trying to get rid of our emotions because we're wired into them with our soul, and it's our feeling, and we're human, having a human experience, and everything else in the mix as well. So the point is energy in motion. E is 5, the 5. Okay, so it's energy, it's constant energy. And same with ego is energy going. So there's this movement, so that you're not stagnant, that you're always there. Best thing to realize is when you're sleeping, you've got to calm that mind down, get into a space. Obviously, people obviously, there's the other space, where they're using drugs or alcohol to calm it. And it's understandable too why they do use that. But the thing is, when you can get into it, to a space where you can just, the breath. So in that breath, you want to be able to do that command as like oxygen, nitrogen. The brain is starving for that oxygen, nitrogen, which we're getting out of the air element, once again, mind. And then you want to harmonize mind and soul together so you can get that to a space where you're in a calm, balanced, chilled out space, opposite of what I'm doing at the moment, right? The four mentions the four elements, and the four become the 5. I mean, that sounds like very metaphysical, but the thing is just getting back to that chilled space. It's like if you're psyching up for a race, you've got to put that energy in, particularly going, sports people, business, you want to focus that energy. You've got a lot of energy rolling in. It's just like you want a clean, clear, and a fast burn. You want the right fuel for that vehicle to get you over the line. So that's the main aspect we're looking at here, is balancing the emotions and keeping them together, and that focus, that's positive fire. Negative fire would be hate, anger, destructiveness, jealousy, those kind of emotions. Positive would be direction, motivation, enthusiasm. Okay, so there's a little bit of a key there with positive and negative fire. And fire's that focus, that laser point. Now, it will help because once you start to say, oh, I'm buying into this, like I'm buying into I'm going back to that pattern. And it's, you're becoming your own psychologist. Not that, I'm recommending, you do become that, but you're catching you out before. It's like, oh, okay, got it. Okay, got it. Or it's like, investment. It's like, I'm not going to be emotional. I'm going to trust that buying. Okay, I got a good feeling with this. I'm going to go on my hunch, my intuition, and that's your sixth sense. Because we have our 5 senses, then we got our 5 higher senses, and then we got sixth sense intuition, and you got a higher aspect in intuition as well. If you look at it that way, I feel it's a good model because it's wide into you can always catch yourself out very, very quickly, as it were. So yeah, I hope that helps, because then I suddenly realize, same with like boredom and laziness, it can't exist when you're in these places. Like, it's just like, okay, I need to rest, body needs to rest. And when you're in the astral plane, you become very aware of when you're dreaming, and you start to awake from the other side, which is lucid dreaming, where you become very, very empowered about what's happening, in your world, because it's your soul talking to you in metaphor and symbolism, as it were, because it's a universal language. So in helping with self-sabotages, you're catching out the old patterns before they start, and working with old patterns that are working good for you. You want to roll with those too, as well as, you're seeing the red flag before it's raised. You know what I mean? I'm going for the check flag.
For people who really want to do this type of work, where it's like, you know what, they're
Absolutely.
noticing these patterns are playing out in their lives, and they're like, okay, I'm noticing this pattern is coming up. And even for me, I catch myself in certain patterns, like, just like you were saying, nope, not going back over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like walking for Doc's back was like, oh yeah, I know this old nutshell. Yeah, da 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 da, rolling with it. The egotistical thing is like, well, look at it, maybe observe it if it's coming up on the radar. And once again, if some things come up, present themselves 1, 2, 3 times, hang on, there's something, the soul's telling me, or maybe a guide, or someone that's working with me, or a higher being, or someone, or people mention something to you 3 times, like, okay, I've got to pay attention to this. This hasn't just come on my radar screen for the wrong reason. I need to look at that. So once again, obviously with systemic, you're feeling it, you're watching it as it becomes. So it's like you watching your mind. So soul watching mind, and then spirit watching soul watching mind, like an overview.
And that's just how it is. It's like you're just learning how to observe and watch your mind, and just keep observant and being aware of what's coming up in the radar, what's coming up in your field of awareness, or just focusing wherever it is you want to go and dealing with that.
Absolutely. Like, for example, a journey, if you're feeling, let's say it might be a small journey, you might be traveling, you want to get everything organized, but also like there's a funny feeling about places. You got to trust your gut feeling on things too. So you're learning to trust your intuition, your feeling. Other people say, oh, no, it's fine. Or other people say, I don't go there. It's really, really bad. And then you feel, no, I need to go there because it's relevant to your own uniqueness. Remember, we're all got our own unique, fingerprint, our own blueprint that's relevant to us, our bloodline, our ancestry, where we're going. Yeah. So you're tuning in deeper. So let's say attunement. So you're tuning in, you're getting the focus right. Sometimes you want a softer focus, sometimes you want a sharp focus, sometimes, exactly, tuning into a radio station. I don't want that radio station to commercials. I'll
Yeah. You're really on it, because I was actually going to ask you about that a little bit later on in the episode. So that's how I know you're hyper tuned in. So another thing I wanted to add, or question, had a question for you, and is, can you share a perspective in terms of going beyond the thought and beyond the feelings, and sort of experiencing timelessness and generating personal power around that? Because
absolutely.
yeah,
Really, I wouldn't say they're bad. Intermediate meditations. Once you're calming the mind, and mind and soul, you want to get together. It's like your mental body and your astral body. Hermeticism. So, and like you've got an astral mind as well, which is picking up what's going on in the dreams because your mind's not working. So you're these parts and this stuff. Plus, you've got a body mind, and also you want to be tuning into your body mind as well. So bringing them all together, you've got all of it happening in the physical body, but also around it, which is your auric field, your energy field. You know that. Like if someone's healthy, they've got a really healthy energy aura, they got a glow, that space cadet glow, space commander glow. But also obviously, they're big in musical activity. They've got a lot of energy coming in, so there's an energy field around them. So let's say if that's a corona or a field around them. All right. So let's say that's got all the dimensions within it, because a lot of the high-end dimensions are just crumpled up in front of our face. We just don't know how to access them and along those lines. So if we want to access that, the most simple things are the two most, I suppose, obvious luminaries. We've got the sun and the moon. And they create, obviously trillions of tons of life in a nanosecond. It's not random, even though it's interesting, the name Ram is Ra, and Ram is, it's, oh, so yeah, obviously through photosynthesis and chlorophyll, creates trillions of tons of life in a nanosecond with all the plant kingdom, and then you got all the everything's working. And then you've got the tides, the liquid with the moon. It's obviously tuned into Gaia, Mother Earth, and now all our bodies come from Gaia, but our soul and our spirit ascend to the stars. We know this from the ancients as well. So we're star beings. So everything's named around the stars. The galaxy, the stars, we're sun. Oh, my son, my daughter. It's all around this whole. The door to the north. It's the birth, the womb to the tomb. You find this out. So getting into that space is getting into your own self and knowing it. Obviously, we have the lymphatic system, which is the chakras, which is where a lot of nerve endings actually end. And there are dozens of different cultures that say this, and it's encoded. When it's written in stone, it's for real. When they're written in stone, it's serious. So we're looking at the aspect of, as I say, self-sabotage. When one tunes into oneself, I won't say I'm not perfect. We've still got our own aspects where we're sort of burning in and burning out. Plus, probably our own hardest challenges sometimes in our own family. We karma, or something we've taken on, and karma is just cause and effect, or action and reaction, controlled by the planet Saturn, which is Satan. So once you understand that, you get to understand how things work. But anyway, let's look at a simple term. So we do a meditation and we work with the sun, because we've got those particles. We're still like a stardust within us. So we have that connection to all these energy connections of stardust, micro, macro. So just want to calm that down, the mind, and then tune in and see ourselves as a young sun, like a star, and just growing. And we've got this incredible effervescent energy, and do what the universe does: create life through love, generate. Give power and energy when it's needed and, when it's required. But other times, hold it when you don't need to give it away because you don't want to give too much of your energy away, even though you've got a constant fluid. So once again, like the circle is the circuit, and you have multiple circuits, like atoms, electrons, photons, neutrons. So you have like a dense core where you want to have the energy, and also you've got a shining energy field around you that you want to be healthy through the right thoughts, feelings, emotions, and that love to be generated, honoring, the people that have given you things. So that's a natural aspect of consciousness. And even when we go deeper, we want to acknowledge subconsciousness. Again, it's our astral body. And then we've got our superconscious, our spirit, and then we've got our unconscious, which is the physical body. Yet, in our unconscious, you've got trillions of actions going on every nano. Like, your blood's pumping through, exactly, your body's repairing itself from damage. So it's a pretty cool little universe going on with your body. And also, we do body meditation. We go through deep into our blood system. We get deep into our breathing. Breathing's so important. Look at these athletes there, all your players. That breath is the key to life. And you'll know about it when you can't breathe. You go along conscious breather, yeah, or even, if you play the horn, or whatever, you've got that circular breath happening. So breathing through the mouth too, and yeah, your lover will tell you when you're snoring kind of thing, like that breath happening. So
yeah.
breath of life, the breath
of life. And it would you say like the breath is almost equatable to the spirit? Like it's actually like
yeah,
the breath is the spirit?
yeah, there's that old saying is like breath is of the gods, we're looking at plural, rather than just singular. We're looking at the gods. We make it man in our image, which is actually, when you go back to the Old Testament, it's not singular, it's plural. So you're looking at beings that have, intervened here. So the breath is the key to your life. And just like, even when you're exercising, like doing it in breath, if you're going to do a really, say complicated, hard exercise, do that breath. And then you take it outside. Hey man, I'm just cooking. Come outside, get a breath of fresh air. Just have a chill. Let's just chill. Cool air, cool flow. And mind needs oxygen, because the mind's going to go through these series of energies when it's just going to go, whoa, it's going to pick up too much, because that's what it's meant to do, transmit and receive. It's like your computer, and you've got like the RAM, the random access memory. Here's that word again, RAM. Kick it off.
Yeah.
Two of these guys.
I love it. So then now, the next question I had for you, Mike, is it's the elements and coming up into inner alchemy. This is your ball game. This is your shindig here. So in Hermeticism, so we got the elements: earth, air, fire, water, and the Akash. And they're often symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
How do these elements relate to the aspects of ourselves prone to self-sabotage? And I know we were talking about polarities, but maybe a perspective, and we can briefly go over it, and then, because I know you were covering it off a little bit before.
Yeah. It kind of obviously led naturally to that.
Yeah.
It's just putting him into positive. Let's say we're using positive earth, which is, confidence, stability, and strength. Going back into, dullness and sort of lazy, when people have that energy about them, that whether to work with them, give them something, or avoid them, it's, it's kind of like the vampire principle. They come to your door, they're knocking on the door, like they need blood to survive. You can give them something, you can shoot them away, or whatever. But the point is, you don't have to open that door. So once again, it's going to be a series of people. It's checking in, not just with your own emotions, how you're dealing and reacting with other people's feelings as well, because we have to interact as well. So if you feed the stray dog or the birds, you get them coming to your place all the time, but mind you, then you've got to clean up after them, sort of thing too.
Right.
But if they're, as I say, if they're friends and they provide comfort, that's fine. That's kind of the deal, because we look after our own physicality, because we're obviously living in a material world. We consume, and then we have to sort of get eliminate solids and wastes and things like this as well. So everything that's happening in this world is relevant to how we deal with it. So self-sabotage is in the way of, like, we've got to learn to trust our own instincts and also have a plan. As soon as you start to deviate from the plan, go back, the rule one is have the plan, how you want to look at things. I mean, some people are going to work through life and just intuitively do that. That's fine. It's more of an air way of looking at things. But if you start to deviate from the plan, rule number two is get back to the plan, and okay, this is how we looked at it. Okay, what's changing? What's not happening here? Write things down. Writing's very powerful. You know that with music. It's the person that wrote the songs with the power, not the singer or the other musicians. It's the person who's got writing and it's copyright, something like that. That's originality, as it were. It is the artist, as it were.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I know we're all tapping and texting and things like that, different muscles, but when you write, in scripture, it has another aspect of power. So the pen becomes mightier than the sword there. I know that might annoy a lot of martial artists, but that's the most powerful weapon on this planet is the media. It's the most powerful weapon. It can because it can change multiple minds and, like that. So let's have a look at, so the media, it's not right. You're going to learn to change the channel. My brother, he gets annoyed with the radio and not knocking, just saying, well, don't listen to the radio. Put your music on. Put the people you want to hear on. You control the situation. It's up to you. You have free choice. So look at what's being put into your head, whose opinion is that, where's the foundations of the substance. So it's getting back to the raw energy. As I say, students, you want to go deeper and more into these elements. So going right back to the platonic solids, which is actually like, the shape and the growth of most of the crystals. You have many of the different, like fluorite grows in octahedron. You're looking at a crystalline structure grows to this. So once again, the ancients aren't silly. Not just like your Plato's and your Socrates. Any of these really good beings that have been around, they have knowledge and they leave keys for us. It's like, let's say ourselves in the past, we left ourselves some little messages so that we follow that. Self-sabotage is a big issue with, I know it, I've gone through myself, I'm sure you've gone through, and it happens to a lot of people out there. So learning to trust one's intuition and doing a bit of your homework, but do things that you want to do. Like if you want to travel, things that you sometimes think you can't do, you can achieve anything with this, not just this knowledge, but yourself. Phenomenal because, and once again, there's so many of these, rags to riches stories or people that have, people they'll put down, people laugh at them and whatever. But they're the ones that come through, they've got the strength, that they chose this cycle and say, okay, it's going to be a tough one, whatever, but I can rise above it. Or I don't have to be a big, powerful success with it. I just got to get comfortable in my own skin because I'm the one to go, waking up to every day, and get comfortable in front of the mirror. And once again, look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I'm happy with myself. I'm doing the best I can. And that's all you need some days. Because no matter what, there's always going to be people better than you and almost worse than you. It's a cliche, but look at the aspect, because self-sabotage is a big issue that does affect so many of us. So I call it, once again, check out the water and that. You need clean food. You don't want to be taking in a lot of those heavy metal toxins. Go for a bit of a cleanse, get a day spa. Take some time out. We can just focus, right? This is where I'm coming back to me. Take some time, chill, right? Now you do it through the day, but some people might need half a day or a day out to calibrate rather than just like keep living, keep doing, keep on going. Take that time out to look at oneself and reflect. This is where meditation or just even running some mantras through yourself. So, okay, I'm worthy, I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes, a lot of people worse than us. So we want to look at what we've got. It's not just positive affirmations. It's actually, all right, we're in a good place. We can turn this around. We can make things happen again for us. So it's not just reflection. It's loving oneself and loving the situations around them. And we can't affect like a lot of the thoughts of sort of friends and family. If they're going to go the way they're going to go, they're going to go the way they're going to go. But the point is, we've got to get comfortable in ourselves and forgive ourselves. And so okay, all right, this is the part. I don't want this anymore. I'm going to go with this now. I want to be that person that I can wake up to and go, I'm doing all right. Hey, man, I remembered my dreams. Oh, wow. So good food, good water, good air, good space. Okay, we can't sometimes always get it. We just make the most of it. Like, check out, like, if you eat like a lot of junk food, you don't feel that great with it. It's like biting on an apple or a pear. It's a ding, and you got that electric energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
shape. Look at the shape of an apple or an orange. What is it? Taurus, 4D spheres. So that's like ours. We're not just a sphere. We're a toroidal, four-dimensional sphere. So we're looking at it like this, and also getting comfortable in yourself. You become very intrigued with your own self. Less chance for self-sabotage to come in there. Man, no, I can do this. No, I'm not buying it. I want to be powered myself. And it's not like a neediness or just a wanting. It's like, I am strong. I am confident. I have, friends. I have intelligence. I know myself. I can use a lot of good things to get me through this, as well. And you will find that other people start coming to you for, advice or guidance or things like that. And it doesn't mean to be a lot. It just has to be something. If you're putting a smile on someone's dial every day, that's cool too. And it's not like it's flippant. It's just an observation in the comedic aspect of things, So I hope that answered the question adequately.
It does. Yeah, it knocked it out the ballpark actually. And I really liked and going back to the originality and being able to understand, like, to tune into your own originality and to write your own script in a sense and to follow your own script, and like, okay, you know what, you can think into your body and you know who you are and you don't have to appease other people because you're sitting inside of your own power, and that alone is attractive in itself, and that alone is sort of doesn't even give time for doubt and all of this self-sabotage to even creep in because you're so grounded in who you are and your values.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again,
Yeah.
everything you just sort of said, so you're going to right back to those 5 elements, exactly. Instead of sort of doubt, you've got confidence. So negative earth becomes positive earth, or at least neutralizing it. Once again, now it's not like you've got to just fight it. You can just neutralize it because you've got the same elemental frequency or the same color. Let's say if it's like an earthy color, like a brownish black or something. It's similar. It's just a morph and a tweak, which is what alchemy is, transform. And if it's
Uh-huh.
easier to do, it's kind of like Matrix. The bullet's coming, and instead of trying to block it or shield against it, you just sort of slightly move out of the way of it, dodge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so once again, some of the water, instead of it being depression, you want joy. So, well, hang on, I've got this liquid in here. Well, let's look at the positive aspect of water. Okay, it's raining. Other people get down. So, okay, let's look at the lake. Let's look at the oceans. Like, oh my God, look at all the life. You're going outside, big open spaces, and really cool. Just breathe it in. It's like, wow, life is ongoing. It's life and death is a constant. So don't get so caught up in it. Just like, I'm outside, I can breathe fresh air. Look at these trees. As we breathe in, and breathe out, they transform it back into oxygen, nitrogen, our carbon. It's a phenomenal system. It's not random. It's obviously been very, very well organized and thought out. So
Yeah.
look at the simple aspect, there's some. I'm not going to read quotes because I'm probably based to mess them up. But yeah, and philosophy, and also cook or read or dance. Listen to some music that inspires you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. Just something that's upbeat and energizing. You want to be around those kind of people. You'll find, obviously, as you get better with this, your friends and, things change a little, and that's okay because change is a constant as well. Always change. It's a universal law. So everything is changing every nanosecond. Even what we just did, the shores changed, the tides, the air, everything has moved, shifted. So you get used to these principles, and then you become quite adaptable and flexible to things. But also, you can also be solid with things as well when you need to hold your ground. Keep it moving, baby. So it's
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
yeah. As I said, it's still going to come back to those 5 principles, whether you're going to be
Yeah.
grounded and solid, or moving in the direction of the fire. You're going to be joyful or happy rather than depressed, as well as, you're going to be knowledgeable with wisdom and, this sort of energy that's to the mental aspect. You're thinking clear and you're doing things that you like doing for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. And then say for instance, you're going into these experiences and there's something around labeling and judging. In Hermeticism, is there a fine line between labeling and judging and just allowing the experience to unfold? Because there's almost like, I remember you talking about the ever expanding rose, sort of like in the tarot deck, in the tarot deck that you were telling me about. So when it comes down to like labeling experiences and judging things, what's your perspective on that? Because sometimes before we go into an experience, we might be like, you know what? I don't know if that's good for me, or maybe this is for me, but it's almost like a labeling and judging or discernment.
Yeah, exactly. I try not to use the word dis too much because he's a god of the underworld. Discernment, yeah, but it is. Look, you've got to have an aspect of judgment, otherwise you get too culture. It's like if you don't have good judgment, yeah, you're going to crash. You're not going to get across the road really well. It's like it's,
It's the truth. It's the truth.
uh, the judge being pushed by two guys, that's really bad judgment. So you've got to have an aspect of judge Saturn, or Satan is the judge, as it were. So you understand that planetary aspect. So you've got
Yes.
to have an aspect of judgment. It's not like you're paying out on someone. Look at that guy, one. That's being terrible. That's being cruel and unkind. And it's just like you've also got to have it. You just can't be like this goody goody, born again white Christian or whatever. That just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right.
Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus said you're not supposed to judge.
you know, hold on all the time. The thing is, you want to be able to sort of judge the sense like, I don't want to done it that way. Exactly. Maybe you need to, as I said, so you've got to have an aspect of judge, but not paying out on people all the time. I mean, obviously politicians, well, they're good targets, so,
Right.
stupid ones, and we've got plenty of them. So you could judge them as much as you like. I mean, maybe that's coming back out, but I mean, if it's a stupid call, it's a stupid call. If the refs
Right. Okay.
it's a bad call, right? That's it. And you've got to be real about that. I mean, that's real, rather, you're kidding yourself if you're not, looking at, I can make that turn, it's okay. God, look at the orange light. I mean, considering that guy was so slow at the beginning and a bang, I'm off the mark, and she,
Right.
I don't know why she put so much makeup on, you so, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I gotta love, like, you're one of the realest people out there, because that there's like this spiritual community out there who's just like, oh, you're not supposed to judge and all of this type of stuff, and you're just like, there's yeah. It's so true.
Well, it's not like, as I said, we learned through martial arts, obviously, because me shit kicked out of his school. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to.
Yep, yep. No, you can swear on here. I swear all the time. I got the potty mouth.
Lots, as I say, I know eye for an eye is a bit harsh, and we don't try to do that. However, there's certain times you turn the cheek, but turn the cheek and then you get killed, like that ain't it either. So you've got defense and attack mechanisms built into the body, exactly. Mother Nature's got that kind of thing too. So there's a discernment here, like you said, okay, so there's a concern about dealing with it. You've got to have boundaries. You got to have like you lock, exactly. Otherwise, people are just going to take everything or take advantage of you and take your energy. So you have to have boundaries, and they're going to be strong. So with your energy field, the same thing. You want to be strong. We're not doing, la-di-da, white light kind of that. What's white light? People say, oh, you're talking about protection and, psychic defense and everything. I just white light everything. The next day, that woman went over and, tripped and broke her ankle or sprained or something. And the point is like, you're actually having a go at me because I'm teaching people defense, protection, and how to use it. Okay, have a defense. Exactly. Someone does this. It's kind of like how you grow up as guys at school, kind of thing, or the girls. It's like someone says something, you've got to have verbal, or then the physical come back. Okay, hey, you want to keep going? You know where this is going to end. It's not going to be good, kind of thing. So it's yeah, because whoever you are, no matter what, you're going to cop stuff, particularly kids at school. I mean, they're brutal, you know. The thing, get real and get to you. It's like, okay, I need to be strong. This is where the fire comes in. Exactly. You know, I'm strong. And I'm going to do things. We're not doing this because a lot of the born, you know, I would say like that, the New Age community got hijacked by the Christian, and it softens it all down. And we don't want to have a solid core, man. You know, it's like, you know, we're like a neutron star, and that's power, and that's energy through experience. You know, I want to say to my grandparents, my you know, I've got energy, I've got core, and I've got drive, and I need to do this. If I'm going to win this, I'm gonna win this. I want that good gig. Oh no, so yeah, it just then you get too weak again. It's like you want to take it, man. Like it's
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Yeah, because that's what's going on. It's just like
right, like,
there's a sense of softness, you know. And that's the type of energy I like. That I like that. Just go out there and fucking take it. If you want it, it's yours. Just
you,
take it. Not like kill somebody for it, but if you want something, take it. Yeah.
sure, it can be like this. I mean, once we get that cool community going, that's fine. And I don't want to be misquoted here, but we've got to be strong. All right, if we're playing for this team, you know, we've got to find that move, we've got to do, and you're looking for your strongest path for the best thing for your family. And you've got a society here that's not very friendly towards us, you know, that's for sure. It is
Yes.
die, you know, by paperwork and technology, you know, like slowly, you know, like that's
Yeah.
a very big issue these days. And it's very frustrating when, you know, I don't know, your interface doesn't work, or you've got to jump through 300 hoops, and you've got to, you know, write your birth date down 4 times to get to some government website or something. So
Yeah.
so the point is, you've got to be strong, and also you've got to be able to breathe. Just zen, zen.
Yeah, yeah. A nice neutral balance right in there. You got to know when to like flip it on and turn it off if you need to, in a sense. Yeah,
It's not
and that's real.
love. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the hippies. It's a hard kind of world, you know. However, and don't get me wrong, there's some beautiful songs, and love is exactly what we're aiming for. But you've got to guard. You know, you look at the female kids, you know, and the babies in any part of nature. That's protection. You know, that they're gonna go you. You know, exactly. Chased by
Yeah, yeah.
and so,
And that's what I appreciate about this conversation. It's love, but I used to like use the analogy sometimes, like if you saw your sister being stabbed in the street, it's like you're not going to just watch your sister being stabbed. You're going to turn something on, and you're going to turn on whatever it's just going to, something's going to wash over you and take over, and you do what you got to do.
absolutely, yeah. Because look, there's a dozen philosophies, 2,000 philosophies, hundreds of philosophies you can follow. Whether you're looking at the spiritual side of things, like you can go like Zen and not affected in Tao and the Buddhism. But the point is, if you're a warrior monk, you bring in that warrior, and you need that. We learned that obviously with this work. Obviously, whether you do martial arts or not, or learn some sort of defense, because you're going to get picked on, and they're going to keep doing it until you stand up and say no. You got to learn to
Yes,
say no. No, it's important. It's as
yes,
important as yes. You know, you're reading
yeah,
that, because that it's black and white, man. Sometimes when it
yeah.
comes to that, you've been the soft energy in between. But when it comes to sort of no, this is how I'm building my defenses. I need to make money, and I need to make good money, and I need to be in a healthy space. Otherwise, my body's just go, oh man, I'll just chill out now, and I'm not watching watch, you know, because if you just keep watching, if you're too comfortable in your
Mm,
something, then you're not progressing. Whereas it's not like you've got to do a whole new learning curve every day. The point is just do some exercise and get the energy. You're tuning in. It's like, you know, man, I did 30 push-ups this morning. Okay, I can do more than that, or
yeah,
whatever. So it's not like we're going to have this incredible exercise regime, but the same thing with our emotional responses. The thing is like, you know, I'm not letting this, you know, this idiot get it, or this one, yeah, okay, I'll let that guy, you know, 1 for 1, you balance it, you know, da 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 da. The thing is, you know, if you can't deal with society, you're better off, you know, go and live in a cave or sort of pull back. But you and I aren't nuns, we become the whole thing. Some of the magi, if I got to master the element, or I got to bring a being, and it's very, very powerful, I've got to hold
Mm.
that being, and I need a lot of fire, and I need a lot of energy, and I need a lot of
Yeah.
balls to do that. Exactly, because we bring forward the sword of power, and then we start building big armor in our body, in the astral planes, and that, so we can handle it. Sometimes you want something dexterous and flexible and things like that. It's where you want to go with the work and how you want to approach it. Exactly. You got to seize the day.
Yes.
If you're going to put that money in on that particular, on that stock or on that, crypto, whatever you're doing, just seize it. I see it. I trust it. Oh no, don't do that. And the amount of times we've listened to other people's advice, I mean, sometimes it's good, you get to hunch, but other times
Yeah.
do wishy-washy. We can't have wishy-washy. We don't need that. It's like bang, because a wave recedes out and it comes back in. If you
Right.
look at water that way, same with all the elements have their own protection, and their own defense. As the same with every animal, things like that. We have to be strong. We're in that way, not just soft, because
Yes.
hard, soft.
Hard, soft, and balancing it in and knowing when to pull the trigger. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit here, and it's almost like navigating fear and doubt since we're on that topic. And fear and doubt often accompany self-sabotage. How does the Hermetic philosophy offer tools or perspectives to deal with these emotions effectively? I know we were talking about the earth element and sort of neutralizing and balancing it out, but we can, because you're really good at touching on these points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're relevant. Fear I'll put to the back burner just because we're going to lead up to it. Let's have a look at doubt. Doubt's a really good
Yeah.
one. And there's relevant doubt. I doubt if I'm going to get that Ferrari tomorrow. However, if I'm working for the Ferrari or the Lamborghini or that new house or something, there are steps in my process that I need to get to it, relevant to
Right.
how I'm doing it, so how I'm approaching it. And also it's like, oh, I doubt if that's going to go any higher, the Bitcoin or the Ethereum, whatever. So once again, this is that judgment. So get used to judgment and discern
Yeah.
also your concern or the energy you're putting into things. Like, so you're watching, and it's a relevant doubt. It's like a relevant fear. And I don't know if I explained doubt just for a start now. Once again, it's just like, no, I'm not gonna go spending my money on that just yet. And like, man, that's overpriced. I'm not, I doubt if I need that. I don't need it, forget it.
Yeah.
Once again, you get comfortable in okay, and you've got your own judgment, your own intuition. And, like it's a hunch, I know that guy did that, the detective, but I can't prove it, but he'll look and find the way. So gut feeling, hunch, intuition, right? And also doubt's just pulling back the energy. So not looking at doubt as negative, but looking at it as like, I don't feel like I'm in the sweet spot with that.
Yeah.
I'm not in the sweet spot. When you're in the sweet spot? I
Yes.
all your listeners to understand it. You're in the sweet spot. I know this is going to feel really, really good. I feel I've got it. I've got it before I've got it. Like it's Christmas, the presents are coming kind of thing. Next is fear. Now, fear to me is almost like the opposite to love. We look at it as emotion, yet if you get a fiery hot stick and you put it near an ant, that ant knows not to go near that fiery hot stick. And same with a plant, obviously with Cleve Baxter's work in the 60s, he found that plants, feel everything. If you give one plant love, it grows and flourishes, another one doesn't, if you feed it hate and negativity. So this happens with everything. Same with crystals and stones in your home. You've got good energy in a house, got a good vibe, it's laid out right. So even inanimate things actually got this thing, what they call the Manitou, the spirit of the home, the spirit of the house, the spirit of the people, that culture there. So let's have a look at fear and let's just cut right into it. So every living thing knows what fear is, and it's relevant to survival. So even if this is where we get into our own constitution, a country has a constitution and it's a series of laws and values that is relevant to that country's survival. It's the core. And it's your core. So you do this with your physical exercise, you do it with your diet, you have a core that is just unbelievable. And when you get into constitution, it's your reaction, survival, adjustment. So let's go right down to the raw aspects of that. So it's, fight, flight, freeze, or faint. These are 4 elements there. because sometimes you can't fight, you freeze, or you faint. If you see something too overpowering, like, I don't know, 14-foot lizard or something, like, fuck, okay, I'm out of this. Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
your core is your constitution. So, and it's got to be relevant, like, whoa, that truck just had to come over, but because of something else. So, you're in a woozy space in your vehicle or on your motorbike or on your push bike or, I don't know, skateboard, rollerblades, whatever. So, same with like on a wave or whatever sport or activity you're doing, or wow, or you might have a massive loss or something. So there's a relevant fear there. It's like, oh my God, that lack of actually, your physical safety is concerned, or your financial welfare is concerned, or, your relationship is there. So that is what keeps our consciousness in check, as it were, okay? Overextension
Right.
or underpowering. So let's go back into the fear. Every single animal knows when they're, in a situation, they're either like, I don't care. Sometimes we can overcome fear. Like, this is where we get into that warrior mode, but it's also got to be relevant. Otherwise, you might the suicide. Well, not suicide, you're killing yourself. It's different. Suicide's when you physically take your own life, whereas killing yourself is like someone, gets shown 3 times, don't keep driving like this, and then the 4th time, bang, they kill themselves. It's different to suicide when you actually sort of do that. So explaining suicide and killing yourself is different, as opposed to fear. It's like, okay, I've got a relevant fear, I need to analyze that, or okay, I don't need to do that again, or I need to keep more aware of this. So fear is a big one. It's every single living thing has that. I'm sure even inanimate objects can feel fear. It's that
Yeah.
powerful and prevalent. And it's a gauge of, I'm in a situation where I'm being threatened, all right, or challenged. As I said, if you're saying fear is an emotion, which it is, it's energy in motion, which it is, rather than just like that. Every animal, as I said, everything from an ant to an insect will know what fear is. And if you know, going to catch a fly, knows that you don't mean it any harm. Get out of my fear. So this is where you get really good with this energy. You can actually communicate to animals and things like, this is the situation. Get out of my house. Same with the mosquito in the room. Like, you're going to keep annoying me in bed, man. If you put that in, it's like this is where the problem with humanity really stands. People think they're raising up to a lot of high energy, but understand the next set of beings up there, like the management feels like it's being challenged. It's like, hey man, you're not coming up here with all your lower vibes until you are.
Right.
I'm not talking about anything. So yeah, there are high vibrational species and beings that don't want you people coming in to the next layer until you're ready. So once
Right.
when you're ready, you're ready. You don't get to A grade until you're ready. So this is exactly on Earth as it is in the heavens and the other planes. And people are very easily manipulated by beings that know how to manipulate the realms and the energy. So this is where entities and things like that can come in too. So having fear is relevant in one way, but also it takes a lot of mastery, and every living being goes through it, because up the food chain, you can imagine as it is.
Great. And then, is there any specific rituals or practices or meditations rooted in Hermeticism that can help individuals confront and overcome fear and doubt, or these types of things?
Absolutely, absolutely. We do it with the focus, like once again in the meditation, exactly getting ourselves ready for our day. In the morning, power meditation. The earlier, the better. You're preparing. Okay, we're looking at like a battlefield. You're ready.
Yeah.
We have this saying. Well, I have this saying exactly. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Okay, so you're ready. So yeah, you're warmed up. You're ready. So your meditation's like, it's going to be a good day. It's going to work. I know there's going to be a few things around this. I need to focus it. I used to have it with challenges with difficult guys at work or something. So I would see their face and I would just say, not negative, I'd just be really, I'm harmonizing with this guy. And then I'd find that guy wouldn't even be on my radar that day. He wouldn't be there. But that takes a bit more practice. And this is what, we teach in Hermeticism as well. That's one aspect. Another thing is that meditation calms, actually, I can overcome this situation. I need balance. I don't want to be going to work and walk on a niche. I don't want to be fearful of this manager. I don't want to be these sorts of things. So looking at like my life will improve. So these are positive affirmations. If you, whether you believe in affirmations, fine. If you don't, that's up to you. But
Yeah.
thought and energy, what you can do with your mind will blow your mind, because it just keeps
Expanding.
Yeah, you see the body, man. If you looked at, because remember, wherever you get, you're kind of not happy. You've got to get happy, but where you were like 5 years ago, you're just a legend to where you thought you'd be, kind of thing. It's like, and then like, what else do you want? Like, remember everything you wanted, you got it, and now I was like, well, I'm not happy here.
Well, one more.
Already through
No,
this. Oh my God,
this is the good stuff right here, and I'm hoping everyone, because I'm learning as you're going through your knowledge, and other people I know will absolutely be blown away by this, because we all go through it, just like you're saying. We all have like fear and self-doubt, but these things it humanizes the experience in a sense where you're like, everybody goes through this type of stuff. Everybody's on the same level playing field.
yeah.
It's just how you want to deal with it, right?
It's a big thing about perspective. Like, I don't know, like what Bill Gates is doing. Like, oh, I only got 180 billion. Jeez, I gotta turn my life around, man.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
I mean,
so
it's obviously crazy extreme. But the point is, you got to look at it relevant to yourself. It's like, just start with small tasks. It's like, if you start to master the day, you're grasping it. You've got it by the tail, as the shaman steers the storm. And to protect the culture. You're looking at that metaphor. It's like, hang on, this isn't so big. I mean, you laugh at these things are a challenge as years. You bring it up at parties all the time, man. This guy, da da da, and I told him, and da da da, or he just walked out of my life, kind of thing, or whatever. You laugh at it later, but at the time, it's quite the challenge. I mean, look at the challenges, when you're in school, or when you're training in and that, and people that you thought you're looking up to, now you're going near. So it's relative. It's a relationship, and relationship is ratio, and how you see it. All you got to do is, it's just a tweak, just a twist. It's just a change, and it's like organizing the time with you. It's like, hang on, you're in this time zone, or this one. I'll throw this one down in front of you. Let's get on. Oh, this one worked fine. Oh, this one here. Hang on, I can't do that. I've got this here, but let's try this. So negotiation. It's not. It's just it's flexibility, diplomacy.
yeah.
That's what you want with your hermetics. You get to say, okay, this is not so big, or hang on, I think you'd be putting this kind of energy back into my time, or hey, man, my brother, I've really been neglecting him, or my sister is like, oh, my lover, I need to be really present. And I mean, I know there's a massive amount of energy and potentials to lurk out. However, when you get centered and calm, the mind's just okay. Soul, talk to mind. All right, we're good. Heart, your heart. Talk to my left. Your heart.
Anatomy 101.
He's been lying to us all the time. Your heart's the most incredible pump. I mean, look at the amount of blood that you're running around your body, and it's your vital force. You're not going in without your blood. So your heart's an incredible magnet, and it attracts force. It's your heart. Mine's phenomenal. It's the computer. It's the RAM, the random access memory running through your laptop and your hard drive kind of thing. But the heart, man, that's
That's where it's at.
Yeah, it breaks all the laws of physics, the way it's all running around. Yet every animal's got a heart, so you understand, the dynamics. So it's obviously whipping blood into spin, into spiral, which is spirit. It's in spiral. So it's going plop, plop, plop. So it's working on these things. I mean, having a look at your own heart when you're in meditation is really cool too. So you're looking, wow, I'm this amazing. We've had some phenomenal transformations with so many students, and they, oh my God, I never looked at it like that. So yeah, exactly. You're caught up on something out here that's not going to mean anything in a week. This is the difference between your soul and your mind. This is where a lot of intuition is. Mind your thoughts. I don't know what happened last Tuesday or the Tuesday the week before. It means nothing because you've gone through so many things. Whereas your heart is like, I love this person. I love these guys. Like, work. I like this music. First kiss, first time in school, or the most challenging things that hurt you, or whatever. That's soul memory. That's soul. As opposed
Wow.
to your astro. Yeah, they're really powerful. Like, as I said,
Yeah.
what happened last year on a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of nowhere, it means nothing. As opposed to something whereas I stopped, looked at the sunrise and just, man, I said, I felt where I was at. And that's what we want you to look at. It's not like I'm teaching it, I'm showing you how to remember who you are. That's all we're doing, really. Because you've got it. You've got it all here, you know.
That's so fantastic, because when you were going into that, it's like I literally felt like when you were saying sometimes we have that first time when we get hurt, but over time you get over it, but and you can feel into so much more different frequencies and different energies, and but at the same time you can accept the things that have happened in the past or whatever the case is. It's just like a really deep subconscious thing where you feel at a really deep level. And sometimes it feels like we're disconnected, but it's about going back into your own feelings and allowing everything to process and get through and work through the structure and flow out, and you can pull back in that electromagnetic in essence.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot more emotions we get into, and I would love to talk a lot more about them, particularly when it comes to self-sabotage. And there's things like revenge. People want to get revenge on other people, and it's
Yeah.
understandable in some situations. Trust me, it is. I mean, that's basically the formula for 90% of the movies. The good guy gets beaten up, he's going to get his own on the bad guys, and ends up wiping them all out. Because obviously there's no karma, in the movie sort of thing, or there's a little bit, but not so much. But as I said, learning about these kinds of emotions is what this Hermeticism is about. And it's not about dismissing them. It's about
Yeah.
looking at them and also relevant as well, because there are huge wars where, thousands, if not tens of thousands of people die and pass away, and people asking, well, what's going on there? How come this is happening? I said, well, if you want to go deep, you're going to have to learn the truth of this world. And that is a very,
Yeah.
very deep.
Ooh.
It's not a rabbit hole anymore. It's a dragon's lair. And when you go down the dragon's
Yeah.
lair, you're going to really find out. But it will show you who you are, what you're made of, and where you come from. And you'll go beyond the atom. You'll go beyond, color. You become all these things. And that's the depth of it. I
Yeah.
suppose you keep going. So once again, with the elements, they're infinite, they're absolutes, they're beyond. They are. The original name for God is El. We can go back to the ancient texts, and it's the Elohim. That's plural. And then you've got different gods that have. And once you understand that, you'll see two in the Bible, so they don't get on. One loves humans, the other guy is fire and brimstone. You'll do this, and you're going to burn it up, blah, blah, blah. And then you get. And then you'll find there's a sister too, so she's very powerful as well. But it's written out because of the players that run financial institutions and the big power brokers, so they don't want to lose what they do.
Oh,
But anyway,
you know what's funny about that too? I know we're a little off topic, but a little controversial, because you sort of put me onto this rabbit hole a long time ago, in the sense of how these big banks and how they control the flow and how they control the narrative all the way up to the Federal Reserve. And I was just like, Jesus Christ! I'm like, they literally can go into other countries, completely take their resources and say, hey, you don't have enough resources to mine your own gold, so we'll come into your country and we'll go ahead and start taking all your resources, and you know what, we're going to go ahead and corrupt your politicians and
absolutely.
give them the money and then give the people nothing. It's really, really sad. It's really sad.
It happens. As I said, what people need to realize is do the goody sort of thing is like you've got a race of beings here. I wouldn't even say a race, a species. I'd say a species
Mm.
that feed on fear. It doesn't matter about they can enter another being's chakras and control them, right?
Oh.
To the astral plane, because they see people literally as we see food, like meat or something. They see people, and they feed because they think that
Wow.
they're more powerful, they're more intelligent. And so once you understand that you're right, I mean, they're generally called demons or
Mm.
there's genius.
Mm.
And once again, they're written about in many of the ancient texts and things like that. They prefer to remain hidden because they're powered in
Mm.
that way. However, once you sort of see it, you see it for what it is, and you're calling, that which is like, and when you understand that, it's not all just light and love. And you think, well, how can they be like that? What are they like to their own people and their own children and things? No, they feed on negative energy. And
Mhm.
once you understand that, that's how it works. It just is the way of the way. We try and be as strong and powerful as we can be, but by knowing that these beings exist, therefore we're not subject to their control. So, and the higher up the chain you go, the more powerful you get, you're going to see a lot more of it, because they feed on power and energy,
Yeah.
control, and manipulation. So therefore, we're going to manifest our own space. Now, without that being doom and gloom, we want to be able to hold our space and take that which we need for
Mhm.
our best benefits, our love, our creativity, our own world work. So we're going to be very healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in those regards for our own good.
Wow. That is powerful in itself. That is it sheds light on it, and it's sad, but at the same time it's also empowering, because you're like, if you're doing this great work and you're actually doing the work to alchemize and to see these type of patterns,
Mm-hmm.
you can be so empowered in your daily life, and you can be like, oh, okay, I can see that he's got a lot to learn over there, but at the same time, I can set the example and be that sort of light to show other people that you don't have to be fed on or be taken advantage of in those
Yeah,
aspects, in a sense.
yeah, absolutely. You need a strong leader, and you've got to be your own strong leader. That's why you're attracted to strong leaders. You can't have a team unless you've got a really good coach. You'll know when you get a good coach there. You've seen it from some of the teams that have been just a year, 10, 20 years of losing, and then they get this good coach. They're on.
Yeah,
They're on.
yeah,
But that's
yeah,
not like a fluke. That's the real goods. That's focus, that's energy, that's survival, that's drive, that's need, and just turning everything around. And key players, instead of a team of champions, you got a champion team, or
yeah,
like that. You're all running together. You're all on the same playing field here. We're working okay, and all the crew's on. You know.
yeah.
You
And it always comes back down to the elements, like you were saying. It always comes back down, when you really boil it down. You see the positive and the negative sort of elements on each playing field.
Yeah, absolutely. Every element's going to be there. That's why we use this that Formula 5. You can always come back to those sorts of things. Do I need to be playing more defense? That can be earth, or it can be water as well, pulling back and then coming back in. The fire is like more, I found the spot, bang, we're breaking through the line. You know what I mean? Or hitting the ball out. And air is also more the like the knowledge. Okay, I've got the plays here. All right, they know this, they know this, but they don't know this. So da 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 da. So you're still gonna come back to those aspects. And you get the fifth element, which is like a combination of any and all at the same time, sort of thing. It's universal, and it's Eastern and Western. So you can use anything and everything within the elemental planes of things. But remember, it's all relevant or to where you're at that time. And also there are forces beyond you that they're powerful. You can move mountains with this knowledge. However, there's certain mountains that
Yeah,
will be moved, and that's where you understand why we have our relevance, our fear, and our doubt. In respect to our lives, but not
mhm,
letting it get into self-sabotage, that the doubt becomes too strong. Well, okay, we've got to, if this isn't moving, we've got to try a new tact, or let's pull out of this and let's move, or let's change this here. So you've got to be
right.
adaptable to the reality of it. And once again, the reality is like, oh man, I'm going to put this score. Okay, sorry, yeah, just had a little bump in there. Yeah, if
No
it's
worries.
going to work, push it. Yeah, exactly. You can push things to a degree, but once if it's gone past that certain point, it's not going to be helpful, as it were. You've got to know that relevant limitation. I don't like to put it like that, but it's something like, okay, this is a
Yeah,
little bit too much. As I say, or I'm biting too big a bite of the cherry. Like I'm going for the whole cherry field. I don't need that right now. I just take the
yeah,
pieces that I need that are working for me. I'm comfortable with that. Once again, you're comfortable again, but you said get out of your comfort zone. Yeah, well, it's relevant. I like to help people, but not after 8 o'clock at night kind of thing. I need my chill
yeah.
out time too. Yeah, exactly.
Right, right. It makes sense. And
Yeah.
then and I'm going to go into something a little bit different here, which is about balance and integration, where we were like talking about it. And Hermeticism sort of emphasizes balance and integration of polarities. And so, could you share like practical tips for maintaining balance and harmony within oneself while you're navigating the challenges of self growth?
I thought you could help me with that. I'm going through a few bad.
I love it.
Give a shot. I need to balance my coffee intake. No, it's good. It's all right. It's organic. It's a farm from free range hens. Yeah, balance is no matter what. Let's say we'll take the element of sport or professional investing or something like that. You
Yeah.
might want to go. You might be putting it all in one area. That's fine too. But you might want like a decent spread across a few different income streams.
Mm.
And once again, if you're a gymnast, you're going to need good balance. And once again, it's that focus, that line, and get that spin or that twist or that move. Same with it's the same with your emotions as well. Exactly. Do I need to spend more money on things that are not helpful to me? Do I need to take in more soda? No, I can do juices. They're good. Oh, they got sugars too, but these are more positive sugars. Things like that. You're gonna have to find that line that suits you. Once again, it's easy for me to say, oh, dictate this and dictate that. However, I'm not dictating. I'm saying, like, let's say penicillin. I use this proverb a lot. 90% of most people can have penicillin, no problem. 10% in the room, they're going to have an issue with it. So you've got to find it. Some people have problems with lactose intolerant, gluten intolerance, because everything's been genetically modified. The
Right.
food ain't what it was 30 years ago, or certain places they got, like Europe's got better standards. Same in Australia. You got to look for quality, and you got to pay good money for good food. There's a lot of garbage out there, but then you can get it from farmers or whatever. It's coming straight from source. You know what I mean? Or get it from the garden, or obviously not all of us have that kind of thing. So you want high quality energy and high quality food that's relevant, that's going to work for your own sustenance and your own stability. It's the same with your thought process and things like that. I don't know if I'm actually answering the question here, however, but it's just
Yeah, you're on
you
the right
need a
path.
balance. You need a balance of high quality things or relevant quality. As I said, I can go to work and get money. I can go extra overtime, get more money. However, if I overextend myself, I'm out of balance there. It's always about that balance. And, if you can handle it or, no one's out of, got their nose out of joint or, out of pocket or whatever, I suppose, it's relevant to where you are. However, if you've got mouths to feed or, you've got commitment to work, you've got to balance things around that to get the best result. But also, you don't want to be breaking your neck, putting yourself out of alignment to help someone that's just going to keep taking from you. You've got to realize, this person's using me and getting more out of me, and I'm not getting, remunerated for that. I'm getting taken advantage. This guy, he's taking me for a ride. He's using me, so or whatever. So you've got to become aware of that, and
Mm.
also if they're using, you negotiate a better pay rate or something. You know what I mean? There's a balance, and it's always going to be there. It's always going to be plus and minus, negative and positive, up, down, in, out, whatever. So you want to keep that center, your
Yeah.
center, your center, good posture, good energy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely answered the question, because when it comes to, and I guess it really depends on the situation, because even when it comes to like when you're learning how to drive, you have to go through the whole steps and the
Yeah,
phases, and you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
balance
yeah.
yourself out, because at first maybe you failed the test a couple times. I failed the test a couple times, but you keep going and you balance out those emotions. You're like, yeah, I don't need this emotion. I can feel it, but I'm gonna keep going regardless, and you're gonna keep
Yeah,
pursuing it,
yeah,
and you just
absolutely. That's
and
true.
find
That's
ways
true.
to, yeah, and you find
See,
ways
this
to
is the
balance it.
point. Yeah, yeah, you just know the road. You're reading the other drivers. You're saying this guy's going to indicate, this guy's going to turn. I can tell this. I'm watching three
Yes.
cars back. You're in this sphere of influence, and you know it. You're watching.
Mm.
This guy is dangerous. He's going to do random braking. And you can
Yeah.
feel it. Yes,
Yeah,
you can tell by
that's
the
true.
weird dents in their car. Like, how the hell did they get that dent? They
Yeah.
know. Nature's way of staying away. I'm thinking, whoa, there's weirdness going on there. So yeah, you get to read the road. Also, the wet. As I say, using road here as a metaphor. Driving.
Yeah.
Heavy rain or heavy snow or, heavy, conditions of weather. It changes, so it manipulates the energy. Knowing when to not go in peak hour traffic, you just know this is going to gridlock. It's like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't go anywhere. It's like, so you're in the sea, and remember, carbon monoxide from the fumes of cars with impatience and anger and frustration and anxiety. You're in a sea of it. So you need to avoid those big times. I know some people can't avoid those times, but you've got to find alternatives. I know the back roads, every back road I possibly can. Other times, to try and avoid that time or, wait or get there early. That's an adjustment. That's a balance too. So
Yeah.
using, for example, getting to and from, work or play, you need to have a balance of that. And that's the same as anything, it really
Okay.
is. It's right across the board.
And it sort of leads into the next thing too, where we were just talking about balance and integration. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is how does like one incorporate these hermetic principles and alchemical practices into their everyday lives to support their journey for self-mastery in a sense? Because you have the Franz Barden books, the evocational books, you've got the letters, you've got planetary stuff. There's a breadth of knowledge. How
Yeah.
would someone like a beginner or someone starting out, how would they start to just easily start to incorporate some of these practices into their lives?
I pick simpler things. We've just started a program. We're repeating it every 6 months now. We've got a situation where we just go through the initiation of Hermetics, or we go through the basics and we learn about the breathing, the spirit, the soul, that sort of thing. And it's just it's an 8 to 10 day course, and then we do the elements 8 to 8. And
Yeah.
then when you got basics, next one's protection. You want to be able to protect yourself. We do an 8 day workshop, so you can check us out at Michaelsalchemy.com, or just check out my webpage, Michael Lamb or Manuela Hecht, on Facebook or Instagram. We've got these courses going. They're quite helpful. However, as I say, there's a lot of books, and with books, you do need a mentor. I've had mentors, and like a coach, you need a coach if you're doing things.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the time. Obviously you're good on your own too, but it's also good to just get in and have someone teach you. Hey, look at it like this, because people come against issues, and we think, okay, well, let's have a look at it like this. And it's not just us. There's other coaches and that available as well, depending if you're going more into the martial side of things, or we do the Vedic side, the magic side, that which is, obviously there's been a lot of these ancient societies as the Golden Dawn, and there's also good and bad in them as well. Same with the tarot as well. You want someone that can explain things very simply and very adequately, and then you go and practice, like, I don't know, a music teacher or a sports coach. Exactly. Once again, it's in the practice and how you look at it and simplify it for you. Because once again, like, let's say we do an apprenticeship or we start a profession, let's say 4 years or whatever. And in that, we're learning form. Let's say we're a musician, we're learning form, we're copying other musicians or whatever. And after a while, we start doing our own thing. We're grabbing a bit from this band, a bit from that singer, a little bit from this culture here, a little bit more of that embellishment. And that becomes our own style. So we learn form, and then we basically unlearn form. We become our own unique self. Because if you do things too much, you become too rigid. So you learn that at the beginning. You learn rigid form. The form is like form, but concrete. You box it all in, four-side form, and then you take away the form, and then it's holding itself. You dig? Is that, yeah?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Because
I'm here all week, it's great.
it makes absolute sense, because you're right, because we're, even when you're talking about the form in a sense, and then after you're literally, once you've taken away the form, it can still hold itself together, and you can still shape it into something that you want, because you know how to put it back into that rigid form, or you can change the form into something that suits you or what you like, or it's just a play in a sense. You can literally play with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the best way to look at it. It's adaptability to the situation. The days keep changing. Everything, all is changed. Once one understands that, it's a very healthy way to look at things. We've just put up some videos and that we've done. They're short snippets edited of some of the workshops when we're interacting, and we've had some great feedback. It's just been all very, very positive and very, very solid. And
Yeah.
this is what we're looking at for everyone that we work with, because there's adaptability. When we're teaching. We go through the meditations when we do the courses, and we just take people through, like, for example, meditating on the physical, the mental, the astral, and then the spirit, and then we go through the elements. And we're going back to basics, because I found a lot of the advanced students, they had not so strong basics, and we wanted to get them back into some of these solid aspects of basic, solid work. Because, like, once again, you can go off into the colors and the letters and sounds of Kabbalah or evocation. You get in these evocation situations, they're bringing things, but they're not holding it, or they're not really bringing the being enough, and also representing it. Because if it's a being from another realm or plane, it's exactly like you have a relationship with someone that we're communicating. We've got to be on the same playing field, and we've got to be able to have something that's, I suppose, relevant to where we're at, where we're coming from.
Right.
And yeah, it has to. You've got to sort of see me, I've got to see you, rather than just, I'm bringing your energy just to use for this thing. Then one feels used, whereas you're actually spending time. Time's the gift. You're spending quality time with each other, and you're getting a transaction happening there. So that's it with what we do. And I suppose we keep that, that which I don't know if I'm making sense here, but yeah,
No, it
you
makes sense.
want a really, really good open channel. It's the same with any of the work that you do. I don't care which system you follow. Let's say if you're following Golden Dawn, or you're doing Zen or Tai Chi or Qigong, or any of the martial systems, whatever. You want to have a good rapport, and it's going to be relevant to your life. You can do it and go all the way down the traditional way. Like France Barden stuff's really hard when it's a solid tradition. We became very, very adaptable. It's not like we're taking anything away from it. We're embellishing a lot of different cultures and systems in there, so it becomes a universal system. So we're going right back into Hermetics, and plus a lot of the training I did in the School of Inner Knowledge. And that was Bill had us, we're training a lot more things than what was in Barden's work. I'm not using that as an ego thing. I'm just saying we
Yeah.
do a lot more. Obviously, you learn pendulum and dowsing and all those sorts of things. Bill had reading, when you write something down, you get a person to learn, tap into their psychic abilities, bringing up a class on psychic abilities. So people develop their clairvoyance, develop their clairsentience, develop their clairaudience, the clairsophiance, all the different higher frequencies which are happening up here that one can adapt. So when you're hearing frequencies, or you hear someone's voice, or you think, oh, I feel like the phone's going to ring, or you're thinking someone, then bang, the phone rings, it's got them. So you're developing your intuition, and we coach you through this. We take you through piecemeal at a time, so that one doesn't feel left behind. And you'll find that some people have got phenomenal amounts of these abilities that are very, very helpful to themselves, and they're very, I suppose, unaware until someone shows them. They may be very, very good, or they felt it at a younger age. But as we go through society, we get things covered up, and it sort of crushes the soul a little. You know what I mean? We get, whereas we start to re-emerge, in our 20s and our 30s, we start to come back into who we are. And that is where we want people to be, for their own lives. So yeah, the courses are, they're very affordable. They're great fun. We're about to start the protection workshop for April. That's good. That's going to be 8 days, and learning how to shield the body, cleanse the body of, upsets, being aware of, this, that, and the other thing, negative forces and things like that. So one is very, very strong and shielded. So that's kicking off very, very soon. We just sent that. Yeah. We want it. People are working, to the maximum of their frequencies. So yeah.
We love that, because you see it in the communities too, where people are like, oh, how do I protect myself? Or how do I, when I'm going out, I'm feeling all these different types of energies, or whatever the case is. And I think that would be a really great course to, even just like you're saying, tune into the higher frequencies. And there's so much value and knowledge that they can get out of.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing it a long time. As I said, we do a lot of the advanced students as well. we've been asked to sort of go back and keep not just the basic, the intermediate, also advanced plus into the Kabbalistic students as well. We get a lot of classes. I just came back from Chiang Mai. I was over there for 2 months again. And yeah, Mark had me going through all the night classes. He did 4 10-day sessions. I did all the night sessions. So we went deep into every color and sound. People have sometimes an issue with, I think, understanding the elements, what they mean. So we go through each element: fire, earth, air, water, and develop that. And that's what we're doing with our elements classes. Once again, the protection, how to build energy balls in and around you, so you're increasing elemental energy, as well as you're breathing and you're focusing on your whole thing. It's not like you built this big earth sphere and you got to steer this big stone ball around, but you're understanding the principles of earth as it were. The class is starting pretty soon. We kick it off in April. I'll just give you those dates if you don't mind.
Where can people find you on social media, and or where your tags, so they can look you up and say, hey, I need to know more. I need more information. I need more.
Yeah, okay. Well, at the moment, just look up Michael Lamb, Michaelsalchemy. I've got a couple of sites. Just go to my personal page at the moment. We've got a lot of the information going out through there. So you'll see Michael Lamb, and you'll see all the video feeds there. So 15 to the 22nd, that's our protection workshop. Yeah, drop us a line. Don't be afraid there. As I said, my calendar, as I said, you've got your glasses on and you can see.
I got my glasses right.
There's so much light here in the studio, and it's definitely what we want people to be aware of. Yeah, the protection workshop goes brilliantly. And if you want to jump on, fine. If you feel it's a bit much, as I say, we're kicking off all the general workshops again back in June, July. And plus we'll be touring, sacred sites around the world. We'll get, deeper into the Hermetic aspect of things as well. So we've got a really good program. Send us your email and we'll keep you up to date as well. So yeah, Michaelsalchemy@gmail.com. I've got the protection workshop. It's up here. It's just widened out. That's all. So it's the 15th to the 22nd of April. It's online. It's 10 a.m. Sydney time. But if you miss it, we send you the video, the Zoom link anyway. Plus, we're looking at recording everything again professionally rather than, to get the better quality as well. Plus, you've got a male-female balance here. Manalo is very, very adapted to, the shamanism, and also a lot of intuition, diver and things like this as well. Strong connection. So I'm loving it. She's my other half now, and we're loving this energy journey.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. So here's just a quick overview. Cleansing yourself of all levels, physical, mental, and actually is the key to inside. Clean your energy vibration high and to be not affected by other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions and expectations. So there'll be 8 days. First day's protection overview. We'll go through the overviews of types of protections that people have used, in different societies and cultures. Then there's spiritual protection day 2, cleansing and energy vibration day 3. 4 is mental protection, psychic attacks, black magic, power of symbols day 5. Day 6 is astral protection and entity removal. Day 7 is house cleansing, getting your vibe ready. And day 8, protection tools, vaulting, creating magic weapons and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Comprehensive.
That is a really cool course.
Yeah. As I say, you want it, we'll send it out in this package, and come along. As I say, if you miss it, obviously we'll work family or time zones. We send it out as a video. We go through each of the stages, and we have an overview. And plus, we are interactive at the moment, so there's questions coming from students as well. So that's great.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions for Mike, I'll even link his email in there, and so you can ask questions about that course. This course sounds. I don't want to use expletives, but it sounds effing awesome because it gives you the tools. It gives you the tools to go out there every day and to actually deal with your home environment, to deal with the environment that's outside as well, and to actually go out there and to tune into higher frequencies and to cleanse and protect yourself and to keep your auric field nice and clean and pure, so that you can
nice and clean. And once again, once it gets dirty or you're getting the wrong influences, you get very quick at picking that up as well. So you become quite adept. You become very, very good, and also you start to really enjoy your life. You become quite childlike at levels, and also you can keep your maturity as well. So that's great. So, thank you very much.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Michael, for coming on today's show and sharing your program, sharing your knowledge, sharing everything. And I know this is somewhere down the line we'll link up again on another show, and share some more knowledge and maybe go into deeper things, maybe go dive deeper into other things. But
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
absolutely love this episode today, and I really thank you for giving your perspective and the Hermetic perspective and the bridging it all together with the elements in terms of just understanding things at a basic level, so that way we can sort of polarize and stay balanced on this journey. Because I always end everything off by staying balanced.